Hi, welcome to the new series. It's our Dodge van shop truck. Got my cheat sheet. Let's take a walk around this thing. So basically, the reason I went with a van instead of a truck, the main reason is it rains a lot up here. Another reason is I needed something that could tow. I needed something that could carry engines and pallets and things like that. And, a van can do all that just like a truck can. So we went ahead and went that route. Now, as we go down the side, you'll notice we got a lot of damage on this thing. This is sun damage to the clear coat. You can see up here close that it's not pretty. It's definitely coming off, and it's actually wearing through the color as well. But we'll see what we can do to save this thing as more of a survivor. We'll get to the front missing all its parts in a second here. If you saw the teaser, you know what's going on there. So anyway, yeah, this is the shortest wheelbase available in that year, and it's the windowless model, which is what I wanted. And, look at this paint job. How could I not pick this thing up? It's as 80s as it gets. So, come on down here. We even got our old whip antenna kind of thing set up right here on the side. So as we come around the truck, it's actually really clean. There's no rust on this thing anywhere. It looks pretty good. It's got some goofy tires on it. We're going to need to fix those. Replace those, I guess is a better way to put it. So anyway, this is a 1988 Dodge B350. The 350 means it's a 1-ton van. Now, since I got it for towing, being a 1-ton, it makes sense because it's got a limited slip Dana 60 in it. So it'll be perfect for towing as well as doing burnouts and stuff. So if we come around the back here, we do have some more clear coat problems here. If you come up close, you'll see it's actually, the clear coat's got water stuck underneath it there. So we definitely have some clear coat issues to fix. That whole silvery area is just loose clear coat. Got some up here above the windows. This moss actually just comes right off. This is just because it's so moist up here. And then it's the barn door style instead of the one big door. So as you can see here, come on in, showing the interior. So it's got a little platform for a bed. I said I wouldn't be putting a water bed in this thing, and I won't. But there is a little disco ball in here somewhere, and that will probably get hung up at some point. I'm not sure if what we're gonna do with the interior. The wood is obviously all wavy and messed up from time and moisture, but we may leave that all like it is for now and not worry too much about the inside. Like I said, it's for cargo hauling and things like that, so that's last on my priority list is what we're gonna do with the interior. But again, it's got the tow hitch already on it. I'm going to replace the electronics down there with some modern stuff. Taillights are good. Got a couple cracks here, but it's pretty decent. And then it's got the slider door on the side. I know a lot of people prefer the barn doors on the side. I actually kind of like the slider. The only thing I don't like about it is this big guy up here. Maybe down the road, if I keep this thing for a while and we want to do more to it, I can do something a little more custom, modernize it a little bit, maybe try and get rid of some of that and make it look a little cleaner. But for now, this is kind of the only window in it besides the back doors, and it's tinted. It's in pretty good shape. Like I said, there's no rust on this thing anywhere. If you look at the interior here, I've already started taking the dash apart on it. I just can't leave anything alone. So, we got some tape here where we painted our engine compartment. But, it's a van. It's an old van, and it looks like one, and it actually smells like one too. So if it looks like a van and smells like a van, it's a van. The paint job isn't totally awesome. They didn't really wrap it around the edges at all. So as you can see, like right over here, back up. You see it doesn't wrap around to the door jamb at all. So you can still see the blue shining through it when the door is closed. You can see that it's not complete. There's a white piece there. Those are all small things to address. The chrome is peeling off on these mirrors. I'll probably replace those at some point. You see the chrome starting to buckle here. Okay, so there's a crack here. This is the worst flare on the van. Big crack here. There's a bunch of splits in the paint here. Another crack here. If you look up here, we've got a paint problem. It's starting to peel off here. Luckily, it's in the black mostly. We should be able to save that. And then there's another crack and a bunch of splits right here on this flare as well. So that's pretty much most of the things that are wrong with the body. So let's see what else is wrong with this thing. Alright, so the biggest problem with the thing right now is the It's missing the spinny thing that makes it go. So we need to address that. And the whole reason that's like that is because we had some issues. Now this thing came with a small block. That would be a 360 small block Mopar. That would be a 5.9 for you metric folks out there. And it has a 727 transmission behind it, which is pretty much a bulletproof transmission, even from the factory. So that's a good thing. But this is what it looked like when we got it. And this is what the engine compartment looked like when you popped the hood. And I started taking it apart in order to go through the gaskets. I knew it had oil leaks. I started going through looking at the gaskets, and as soon as I pulled the timing cover off, this is what I found. She's a bit loose and stretched. So once I noticed that problem, I decided that maybe I needed to pull this whole motor out. And as you can see, it was pretty grubby in here. Alright, so this is what we're dealing with. The firewall is just filthy as can be. And that's been cleaned. So a lot of that dirt is pretty well caked on. But we started Scotch-Brighting it and it's coming up pretty clean. So we'll be fine. The engine compartment looked terrible. The engine was covered in oil and grease and rust. And so being a van, in order to take the engine out, the whole suspension has to come out of this thing too. So you can drop it out the bottom. Now, on the plus side, the suspension was completely shot anyway, and it had to come out and get repaired. So as you can see in these photos, we had bad bushings, we had bad control arm bushings, and we had bad ball joints with holes in them, and it was all over the road driving it home. As soon as I took the wheel off, I figured out why the brakes were pulling to one side, because you can see in this picture, there's a brake pad hanging out of the caliper, and that's exactly how I found it when I took the wheel off. So if the engine had to come out, the engine didn't have to come out, but I decided let's take it out, because all this stuff's going to be out of the way, and once I put all that stuff back together, then I'd have to take it back off again just to get the engine out. So let's just address it all at once. And once I got all that out, and saw what it looked like behind there, if you look in these photos and videos here, you're going to see it was just grubby and nasty, and you really couldn't see much of the engine through here anyway. And if you look at this video here I'm showing you, you'll notice all the splotchiness, layers of paint that are peeling off it, and it just looked terrible. It needed a repaint. Now I couldn't really match this factory color here because I have no idea what color that is. That's not the factory original color. So what I did instead was I just went with a factory B5 blue, which is one of the high impact colors from Mopar back in the 60s and 70s. So anyway, that gets us up to speed there as far as why the engine had to come out. Yeah, so let's go take a look at a couple more things. Okay, like I said, this thing came with a small block 360, which is sitting on that stand right over there. And here's the rest of the parts for it. And so for those who are wondering, this thing was carbureted when it came in, which I know is voodoo for a lot of you guys out there. And this one's kind of voodoo for me too, because it's an emissions carburetor with electronic controls on it. This is Rochester Quadrajet's what came on it. Ooh, give me my glasses back. So we're going to keep it carbureted, but we're probably not going to use this carburetor. So that's it. Next week we'll get into painting this thing. So next week I'm going to show you guys how we took it from being a complete driving vehicle to something sitting in my driveway unable to move and painting the engine compartment. Next week I'll show you painting the engine compartment, and at that point we'll be totally caught up and moving on to the current stuff. What's that shiny thing in the sky? Oh gosh.